أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، إنه خير ناصر ومعين، ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وعجل فرجهم. طب القلوب ودوائها ونور أبصارها، وعلى أهل بيته الذين ذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وعجل فرجهم. يقول الله عز وجل في كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. آمنا بالله، صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. For the love of Sayyidatun Nisa'il Alameen, with the loudest of our voices, Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. For the love of Abi Abdullah al-Husayn, with the loudest of our voices, Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. And for the purification of our hearts and hastening of the reappearance of our beloved, the awaited Savior, with the loudest of our voices, Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. Once again, we thank Almighty Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala for giving us this wonderful moment to commemorate the painful departure of our beloved role model Fatima Zahra Salamullahi alayha from this world. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. My heartfelt condolences, first and foremost, goes to the Imam of our time, and secondly, heartfelt condolences goes to our great scholars, our Maraji, and thirdly, heartfelt condolences to each and every one of you, mu'mineen and mu'minat, lovers and the followers of Ahlul Bayt, on these painful nights. The verse I've just quoted, no doubt, is a known verse to all of us. Quran 33, verse 33. This verse highlights on the profound virtues of Ahlul Bayt, on how Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala purified Ahlul Bayt with a thorough purification. Now, departing from this beautiful verse, tonight being the last night of our series of discussions, I will focus more on the main theme of our discussions. The topic of tonight is to look at Fatima Zahra as a symbol of perfect human being. Examination of tonight will be of the following two stages. The first stage will look at the features of a perfect human being. And then the last stage of our examination will focus on the manifestations of perfection in the personality of this great lady, Fatima Zahra, Salamullahi alayha. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala. So first stage of the examination, brothers and sisters, is the features of perfect human being. To understand the features, we need to answer the following questions. The first question, who is Insan? Second question, so pay attention to the questions. Because understanding the questions and the answers of the questions will make us appreciate the features of a perfect human being. So one, who is Insan? Who is human being? Second question, what's the purpose of human existence in this world? Third question, how do I achieve the purpose of my existence in this world? And then the last question, what are the manifestations of being the Khalifa of Allah on earth? So these are 4 questions. Let us appreciate these questions. Then it will make life easier for all of us to recognize wholeheartedly and appreciate the personality of Sayyidatun Nisa'il Alameen as a perfect human being. So someone comes to you and asks you this simple question. Kindly pay attention, brothers and sisters. Who is Insan? What comes to mind? Who can answer? Uncle is saying Insan obviously makhluk, created, made up of intellect, akal, he mentioned. Gara is meaning instinct. That's correct, uncle. So I will park it somewhere and I will unpack it later. But that's correct. Any other response? Man huwa al-insan. Who is insan? You are insan. I'm insan. So I'm asking you, who is insan? Define insan for me. Come on. Uncle is saying insan is body and soul. True. We have a body and we have soul. I agree. Any other definition? I've seen someone, yeah. Oh, this is more philosophical. A sentient animal. True. Hayawanun natiq. Reasoning animal. True. That's insan because we are animals. Ajallakumullah. But we different animals. We are animals who reason. As Amir al-Mu'minin highlight in that famous tradition you all know. When Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala created angels, what did He do? He provided angels with mind, intellect without desire. And when He created animals, Ajallakumullah, excuse me for the word, He granted animals desire, imagination without intellect. But when He created Insan, He provided Insan desire, imagination and intellect. That is what free will is all about. So, we and animals, Ajallakumullah, we share desire and imaginations in common. Not only that, every single birth goes through certain stages of knowledge, be it insan or animal. But there is that last one which is unique to insan. And these parents of young children will understand this easily. You know, the first knowledge that Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala blesses every child with is what they call sensory knowledge. What is sensory knowledge? You have children. When a child sees something, the child transfers it to his or her brain. That's sensory knowledge. You know, children, their senses are super active. The second, and this sensory knowledge is also with animals. The second knowledge given to every child is imaginary knowledge. So a child sees something, transfers it. That's sensory. But what the child transfers, the child stores it. That's imaginary knowledge. Animals also have it. The third knowledge is delusional knowledge. It is with animals. It is with human beings. What is delusional knowledge? This thing that a child stores in his or her brain, child gives it a meaning. So all these three we share together with animals. The last one is quwwatu ta'akkul, the power of intellect. It is unique to Insan. And that is why narration tells us, which is based on the on verse of the Holy Quran. Any one of us who makes the best out of his intellect and allow the intellect to manage his desire and imagination, you become better than angels in the sight of Allah. But may Allah forbid, anyone who allows his or her desire and imagination to manage the intellect, you become worse than an animal in the sight of Allah. Quran mentions لهم قلوب لا يفقهون بها ولهم آذان لا يسمعون بها. They've got hearts, but they cannot comprehend with their heart. They've got ears, but they cannot hear. ولهم أعين لا يبصرون بها. They've got eyes, but they cannot see. Towards the end, Allah says, أولئك كالأنعام. They are like cattle, they are like animals. بل هم أضل. In fact, they are worse than animals. So yes, I agree. Insan has aql. Insan has instinct. Let me hear the last one. Then we push forward because of time. Yeah. Ashraf al-makhlukat. Insan is the best of all. Why Insan is Ashraf al-makhlukat? Huh? Intellect. Why? Reason. Why Insan is Ashraf al-makhlukat? Because you've got the freedom to undertake different forms of actions. Otherwise, angels are better than us. You know why you are Ashraf? Because you've got that choice, and you are able to use your choice to lead you to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Anyone who exercises a choice and lead to him somewhere else, you are not Ashraf in the sight of Allah. But now I'm going to draw your attention to something. Kindly, I beg you, pay attention to this. As I said, all your answers are right. But if you ask me, who is Insan? The first thing that comes to mind is to refer you to chapter Al-Mu'minun. You will say verses 12 to 14. But I can say you can focus on only verse 14. It tells you who is Insan and the essence of Insan. You know the verse, we quoted it before. This verse teaches us the stages to the creation of Insan. From clay to semen, from semen to the clot of blood, up to so. Towards the end, Allah says, ثُمَّ أَنْشَأْنَاهُ خَلْقًا آخَرَ. Then we initiated him different creation. What is this different creation? The soul which is been blown in Insan. That is why Allah, after creating Insan, he praised himself. What did he say? Fatabarakallahu. It's only after he created I and you. But Insan, he thinks he's too smart. He uses Allah's blessings to sin against Allah. So that's Insan. And as Uncle mentioned, Insan is made up of 4 major elements. First element is intellect. Second element, instinct or innate. Third element, feeling. What do you think is the 4th element? Huh? What's the 4th element? Mullah is saying desire. It's true, Insan has desire. Understanding, okay? I repeat, intellect, feeling, and what's the third one I mentioned? Instinct. You are following, mashallah. Today is my last day, so I'm going to chill and relax. Especially Sheikh Jafar is here with your permission. And Mullah Hassanin is here. Sheikhana. What's the 4th one? Action. Everything is about action. Imagination. Speech. What of the one who doesn't speak? I agree with you. Free will. Irada. Jazakallah. And some add and fitrah. You know what is fitrah? Nature, innate. And that's why chapter Rum verse 30 discusses that. فَأَكِمْ وَجْهَكَ لِلدِّينِ حَنِيفًا فِطْرَةَ اللَّهِ الَّتِي فَطَرَ النَّاسَ عَلَيْهَا. You know, when you buy a TV set or mobile phone, it comes with a default setting, isn't it? Obviously, you personalize it. But if you tamper a lot with the default setting, you destroy the phone and the TV. So Allah created us, and there is a default setting in us. What is that default setting? Tawheed. Fitra. Fitrat Allah allati fatara an-nas alayha. The moment you tamper with it, then zigzag come in your life. Hence, Surah to Shams, verses 7 and 8, highlight on this fitrah. Who can tell me the verses? Ahsantum mullah, mashallah mullah. Jazakallah khair al-jaza. Mullah is smashing it, man. Wa nafsin wama fa'alhamaha wa. So Allah has granted Insan two major potentials. Potential to be good, potential to be bad. You've got the potential. But obviously, the inbuilt default setting is Tawheed and Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. So bottom line, Insan is that soul. ثُمَّ أَنْشَأَنَاهُ خَلْقًا آخَرَ. So that's one. Second question. What's the purpose of our existence? Who can tell me quickly? Uncle say ibadah. Okay, you're going to say the same thing, ibadah. Okay, uncle is saying ibadah ma khalaqtul jinna wal insa illa liya'budun. MashaAllah, ulama, a lot here. Our purpose is to find purpose. So what is the purpose to find purpose? This is not a tasalsul now. You're right, our purpose is to find purpose, but what's that purpose? Submission to Allah is more or less like ibadah. To attain perfection, kamal, ibadah, perfection. Obviously, aim of ibadah is perfection. These are all good answers. To fulfill, which is the potential? If my potential is to become a politician, that is also purpose of to fulfill our potential. Okay, very good. Okay, now I'm going to give you verses of the Quran to appreciate why we are in this world. Quran 2, verses 30 to 33. وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَائِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ. Come on, guys. إِنِّي جَائِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ Khalifa. That's the purpose of existence. تَحْقِيقُ خِلَافَةِ اللَّهِ. We are created to manifest the deputation of Allah on earth. Inni ja'ilun fil ardi khalifa. Yes, this specifically talking about Adam, but it's not about Adam. It's talking about Adam not as Adam. It's talking about Adam as Insan. Chapter Araf, verse 11 talks that. وَلَكَدْ خَلَقْنَاكُمْ ثُمَّ صَوَّرْنَاكُمْ ثُمَّ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ فَسَجَدُوا إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ أَبَى وَكَانَ مِنَ الْمُسْتَكْبِرِينَ لَمْ يَكُنْ مِنَ السَّاجِدِينَ. That's the ayah. So it's Adam, but Adam is representing Insan. So the purpose of our existence is to become true ambassadors and khulafa of Allah on earth. Now there are two forms of khilafah. We have physical sensory khilafah and we have true khilafah. What is sensory or physical khilafah? You cannot succeed someone if the person is not there. So now if we say our purpose in life is to represent God, God has not to be there before we represent God. So here we are not talking of sensory khilafah. We are talking of true khilafah. What is true khilafah? That's the purpose of our existence. Is to become Allah's manifestation in administering this world. That's why we are created. Allah brought us all to this world to what? To represent Him in managing this world. Idaratul Kawn. That's why I and you are in this world. And Quran comes forward and tells us that true Khalifa of Allah manifests three factors. The first factor is adala, justice. Surah Al-Hadid, verse 25. وقد أرسلنا رسلنا بالبينات وأنزلنا معهم الكتاب والميزان ليقوم الناس بالقسط. Allah said we send our prophet and messengers with books and the balance. There are so many discussions among scholars. What is the book? What is the balance? But the most important point at the end, لِيَقُومَ النَّاسُ بِالْقِسْطِ, so that the people will stand for justice. So the first factor of Khilafatullah al-ard is what? Is justice. Second factor, scholars call Rikabatul Amma. Chapter Baqarah, verse 143. Rikabatul Amma is what? وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ وَيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ عَلَيْكُمْ شَهِيدًا. Meaning what? True Khalifa of Allah on earth, they are mirrors to one another. I see yourself in me and you see yourself in me. We watch, we look after each other. We look for each other. And then the third factor is what? Brotherhood. Surah Al-Hujurat, verse number 10. إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ. So the second question is what? We are here to become true khulafa, true representatives of Allah on earth. That's the second question. Third question. How do I achieve the purpose? Because the purpose, really, my dear brothers and sisters, we're not here to waste time in this world. We're not in this world for slogans. I'm better than you, I'm better than me. I own that, you own this. That's not why we are here. These are all means to the aim. These are not the aim of life. Aim of life is to become true representative of Allah on earth. That's aim of life. Otherwise, what's the point of life? Headache today, headache tomorrow. Happy today, sadness tomorrow. Love today, hated tomorrow. Really, if this is life, then there is no point in life. Life is God. It begins with God and it ends with God. And that is why it's crucial. We all strive in our own small way to manifest those true beautiful names and attributes of Allah. By so doing, we achieve the real purpose of existence. So question, what are the practical tips that I need to put on board to realize and achieve the purpose of life? Who can tell me? There are so many I'm going to mention, and I'll seek your indulgence. Yalla, Bismillah. My brother is saying following Quran. True. That's true. I agree. We have to follow Quran, we have to follow Ahlul Bayt. But I will qualify them, inshallah. To understand? Surround us. Today when you mention God-centric, there are so many meanings that people can take. There are people who say no, God-centric, but when they talk of God-centric, they forget about Ahlul Bayt. No. I personally believe there is no God-centric without Imam-centric. Imam-centric lead to God-centric. Because there are people who say, no, this Imam, shirk, la. We need Imams to get to God. I agree. Any other practical tip, last one, and then we move forward. Serve God creation is true. I agree. Now, okay, kindly look at this point. You truly want to achieve the purpose of life, or we don't want? Do you want? If you want, loud salawat, please, man. Ma salli ala Muhammad. Number one, knowledge acquisition. Ignorance never help. especially compound ignorance. Today, our community is disturbed by compound ignorance. Those who don't know, and they don't know that they don't know. At least I don't know. I know that I don't know. Kushamane, those who understand Swahili, they know. If you know, you know, as they say. The problem is sorted, isn't it? Our fitna today is with those who don't know, and they don't know that they don't know. Compound ignorance, because two ignorance. Number one, they don't know. Number two, they don't know that they don't know. First practical tip is knowledge. That's what chapter Baqarah I quoted earlier on. 2:30 to 33. Towards the end, he said, وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. And Allah taught Adam all the names. It's about knowledge. No teacher or gender limit. No space limit. No time limit. You cannot be a true Shi'i without increasing your knowledge now and then. Following Ahlul Bayt is not following them blindly. It's following them fully aware, fully informed with knowledge. Today, some of us claim to love Ahlul Bayt, but we cannot remember the last time we opened Quran when Ahlul Bayt are the walking Quran. Knowledge, my dear brothers and sisters, liberates you. Knowledge makes you enjoy the religion. Knowledge makes you aspire to get closer to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Like as I asked last night, this whole year, how many Islamic books have you read? How many verses of Quran have you studied? How many classes have you attended? But you cannot be, look at the companions of Ahlul Bayt. We discussed about them briefly last night. When it comes to knowledge, they were competing in acquiring knowledge from the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam. Typical example, look at Lady Fidda. The fact that she was in the house, she responded things through the verses of the Holy Quran. So number one is knowledge. Let's go number two. Practical tip. If you truly want to achieve the purpose of existence, it is to try as much as you can to ensure harmony between what? Theoretical intellect and practical intellect. You know, we have these two powers. Those of you who study philosophy, you know this. Aqlun Nazari and Aqlun Amali, they call. In fiqh also we have, but with different meanings altogether, usul. We have theoretical intellect, we have practical intellect. I'm sure you all heard of this before. What do you understand by theoretical intellect? You can tell me. Now you're going to Jahil Murakab. Allah bless you, bro. This is a power given to us by Allah. Theoretical intellect is the power in you that analyzes things. You go through process, isn't it? Especially when you drive, within a short space of time, you're processing everything at the same time. You analyze, you get new information, it gets analyzed. Theoretical intellect analyzes things. But we have what is called Aklun Amali, practical intellect. What is practical intellect? Practical intellect is what leads you to undertaking actions. Bottom line, conscience, damir. La uqsimu bi yawm al-qiyamah wa la uqsimu bi nafsin. Practical intellect is nafsun lawwama. So there must be harmony between that. How many of us believe in something but we don't practice it? No, I believe. But you know what, Sheikh? There is no what. If you believe, there must be harmony between what is inside and what is outside. Do you believe salat is good? Yes, but why you don't do? Do you believe hijab is solid from Allah? Yes, I believe. Why you don't work? So there must be harmony. Whenever there is no harmony, you will struggle to achieve the purpose of existence. That's number two. When I finish tonight, I will ask these questions. Because it's the last night. So take note of them. Record them in your hard drives. Before Masahib. I will not talk too much tonight. Masahib long. So pay attention. Number three practical tip. Tafakkur. We want to achieve the purpose of life. Baba, we're not here to waste our time. Life is too short. Where is said as a Jafari? Where is he? He's gone. He will never come back to this one. Never. Over. What was yesterday? Saturday. It's over. It will never come back to this world. You know what Amir Mumini said? He said, note that days and night are working in you and taking from you. Why don't you work in them and take from them? Every minute pass by. If you don't take something, you will chew your finger for that minute on the day of Qiyamah. So the third practical tip. Question. What is tafakkur? Huh? I love uncle, man. Uncle, you know, I learned a lot from you. What is tafakkur? Fikr. Oh, fikr is tafakkur. Yeah, tafakkur is fikr. I agree, it's fikr. But what is fikr? To think. Positive thinking. Oh, wow. What is positive thinking? Eh? Which things? Your life, everything. Okay, that's your answer. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Very good. That's the ayah. So what is tafakkur? He's laughing. And then what? I love that, man. This is tafakkur. I mean, your answers are right. I wouldn't say those answers are wrong, really. Tafakkur is about reading the universe. Qira'at. They said we have two forms of qira'ah. We have a qira'ah madiyya, we have a qira'ah malakutiyya. Physical material reading of this world. Meaning what? Ala nahwil mawdu'i. That I read this world as the aim and objective. That's not tafakkur. Tafakkur is qira'a malakuti, spiritual, mystical way of reading this world. Meaning what? I read and consider this world as means to the aim. That's tafakkur. Otherwise, everybody think. Who doesn't think and reflect? But what is important is for the thinking and reflection to lead you to Allah. When your thinking and reflection leads you to Allah, then that is the tafakkur we are talking about when it comes to striving to achieve the purpose of life. That is why the ayah you quoted, you know where the verse is? Habibi, chapter Ali Imran, verse 191. الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا وَعَلَى جُنُوبِهِمْ وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. They remember Allah day and night. But the point is this one. يَتَفَكَّرُونَ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. They reflect when it comes to the creation of the heaven and earth. Why? رَبَّنَا مَا خَلَقْتَ هَذَا بَاطِلًا سُبْحَانَكَ فَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. It's all about God. So that's tafakkur. Number 4, practical tip, Zikr. Inshallah, try to practice this in your own life and see the changes, inshallah. Try, wallahi, try. Don't sit majlis and then you don't seek to implement something. I beg you, try. Zikr. Have you all heard of Zikr before? Okay, salawat if you heard of Zikr. What is Zikr? What is Zikr? Don't tell me remembrance of God. What is Zikr? Remembrance of God is translation of Zikr. What? I don't understand what you say. Yeah, because you're using some serious vocabulary and my English is a bit continuously remembering God. I love that. Huh? Mentioning God. Allah, 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 Allah. So what is zikr, uncle? La hawla wa la quwwata illa. Oh, that's zikr. So what is the other form of zikr? I love that. Uncle said there are different forms of zikr, which is true. We have zikrun qalbi, we have zikrun lisani, we have zikrun jawari, badani. There are 3 forms of zikr. That's true. Okay, what is zikr? Are you an IT expert? You look like an IT person, man. Oh. So what is zikr? Remembering God in happiness and sorrow. Good. Any other last one and then we move forward. Remembrance of God when you see. These are all good, but what I subscribe to when it comes to zikr simply means having sense of belonging to God. That's what I've learned. You know, when you have sense of belonging to something, what do? What's the consequence of having sense of belonging to something? You remember, Yani, your wife, Mullah, I'm sure you have sense of belonging to your wife. When she's not around, how do you feel? Darkness. Your son, your daughter, Sheikh Jafar wasn't here. Sense of belonging. Everybody misses your presence. Absolutely, Sheikh. So having sense of belonging to someone, meaning what? It will be difficult to forget, uncle. Subhanallah. Ala bi dhikrillah tatma'innul qulub. So that is zikr. It is a factor. So you remembering God, you missing God. You mention Him to such an extent your tongue and your body become used to God. You know, you have there's a tradition, I'm just paraphrasing, it's a long tradition, that when a servant of Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala mentions God now and then, fi shidda wa raha, but more raha, in easiness, when you become or you find yourself in difficulty, before you begin mentioning, angels will say, we are used to hearing this voice. Your matters are taken to Allah. That's why it is said, فَذُكُرُونِي أَذْكُرُكُمْ. Remember me, I remember. One scholar said, you know what it means? Remember me in easiness, I remember you in difficulty. He said, remember me above the earth, I remember you inside it. So remembrance of Allah is crucial. Last but certainly not the least practical tip to achieve the purpose of life is to establish connection between tafakkur and zikr. What do you understand by this? How do I harmonize between tafakkur and zikr? Huh? Huh? Action. Action. Implement what you know, as little as it may be. Our problem is what? We take a lot and there is little implementation. The holy month of Muharram, 10 nights, 12 nights. We absorb a lot, but we go out there, implementation is little. I mean, this reminds me of the tradition of Allah, in fact, from Amir al-Mu'minin and some good companions of the Holy Prophet, that when we would go to Prophet to take a lesson about a particular verse, we would not go back to him until we understood those verses and implemented them in our lives. Implementation is crucial in life. You take more, you don't implement, it doesn't work out. You know what will happen? Your hearings, your sense of seeing will witness either for you or against you. Now, last question. Then we go to BB. Insan is here to become who? Khalifa of Allah on earth. In a true sense of becoming Khalifa of Allah. Because when you become a true Khalifa of Allah, you become a perfect human being. And to us, no doubt, perfect human beings, Prophet, Ahlul Bayt. In this regard, tonight, Sayyidah Salamullah Alaiha. What are the manifestations of becoming Allah's Khalifa on earth? What we just explained is achieving the purpose of existence. But higher than that is to become Khalifa of Allah on earth. On the highest level. There are some practical tips. And these, of course, achieved by the prophets, by the Ahlul Bayt, alayhimus salatu. You know, number one is to reach the level of Insan. Martabatul Insaniya. We are all Insan. But here we're talking something different. Insan Kamel reached the level of Insaniya. You know what's the level of Insaniya? The level of Ta'lim wa Ta'allum. Learning and imparting. So you see, knowledge repeats itself here. It's so important, especially our youngsters, youth. The times given to you by Allah, use them to acquire knowledge, not only your secular. You know why sometimes, excuse me, Islam becomes boring to some of us? Because we do not strive and prioritize Islamic teachings. Our secular, as harder as it may be, we will invest a lot of money to do it. Sometimes Islam, you don't have to invest any money. You just have to invest your time in to acquire those knowledge. So Insan Kamel strove for knowledge. That's number one. Number two manifestation of being true Khalifa of Allah on earth is what? Is to shoulder and carry divine responsibility. Chapter Ahzab, you know very well, verse 72. Inna aradna al-amanata ala samawati wal ardi wal jibal. Allah gave the moral responsibility to the earth and heaven. But earth and heaven refused, and Insan accepted it. What is this moral responsibility? In a simple term, is to actualize being the Khalifa of Allah on earth. That's number two. Carry that moral responsibility. Number three manifestation is to become exceptional in whatever you do. You see, Ahlul Bayt, they are exceptional. Prophets of Allah, they are exceptional. If you really claim to be true lover of Ahlul Bayt, you need to aim high and become exceptional in whatever you do. Most especially in your relationship with Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. You must be exceptional. That must be the topmost priority in your life. If you are really a true lover of Ahlul Bayt. I'm not talking of anyone. I'm talking of the one who claim to love Ahlul Bayt. Strive to be exceptional in your ibadah between you and Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. That's manifestation of becoming Khalifatullah fil ard. Another manifestation, my dear brothers and sisters, is what? This true Khalifa of Allah, Allah speaks to him or her. Either through angels, or through vision, or through any other means. How many wives Prophet Ibrahim had? How many? Which one of them the angel went to? Huh? You look somebody I know, you look like I don't know. After the majlis. Who? Sarah. And you? Allahu Akbar. One is saying Sarah. One is saying Hajara. Ibrahim had two wives, you said. Allah sent the angel to one of them. Habibi saying Sarah. Habibi saying Hajara. Anyone? Both. Now it's time for Masahib. But just bear with me, a few minutes we'll do Masahib, inshallah. Two wives. Who did the angel go to? I mean, you know, eh? No, no, I'm not. I'm not talking of Ismail alayhi salam. Yeah, so which one? Is it Sarah or Hajara? The one who was blessed with a child at an old age. Who? Sarah and Maryam, who is higher? Come on, guys. Come. Sarah and Maryam, who is higher? Ah, simple as that. Angels went to these two, isn't it? You agree with me? These two and Fatima, who is higher? Are you sure? No, no. But Allah didn't mention in Quran angel went to Fatima. How did you say that? So it's Musa for Fatima. No, no, uncle. Inna Allah wa malaikatahu. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu. The ayah is saying is making talawat on them. Yeah, okay, full Ahlul Bayt coming, I don't have a problem, Ashabul Kisa. But Allah says, I'm sending Durud, salam to them. But that's a smart way of looking at it. Allah is saying, but Maryam, higher than Sarah, no doubt. Fatima, Maryam, Sarah, who is higher? Did the angel go to Fatima? No, did the angel go to Fatima? When? He said Jibril. But when? There's a point I'm trying to make here. Ahsantum. Last night we discussed it. Ahsantum. Imam Jafar in the beautiful tradition, we discussed it last night. Sent the angel to Sayyidah Fatima. Mushaf of Fatima we discussed. Ta'wil al-Quran we discussed it. And of course, the Holy Prophet himself explained when he said to Sayyidah Fatima, Ama tardeen an takuni sayyidat nisa'il alamin. Oh, my beloved daughter Fatima, will you not be pleased to become the best of all women? Then what was the question from Fatima? What about Maryam? What was the response of the Prophet? Ahsantum, this is the leader of her own time. And Fatima is the leader of the time of Maryam and the time of all other women. You know, this is what they call that of Maryam. They call it umumul ifradi. Individual generality. And Fatima, they call it al-umumul azmani. Periodic generality. Meaning what? Fatima, every period, right from the beginning of creation until the end, she is number one woman ever created by Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. So therefore, this Insan Kamel, Allah speaks to Insan Kamel. Of course, through angels. Now, last stage of the examination. Manifestations of perfection in the personality of Fatima. This is very simple. This will pull all the discussions we had in the last few nights. If you look at the personality of this great lady, you will come across traces of perfection in her life. Now, I'm not going to do it. You are going to do it. First manifestation of perfection in the personality of Fatima is what? Knowledge. True. She is the container of Ummul Kitab we discussed last night. She's the container of the secret of the Holy Quran. That is a sign of being a perfect human being. If you are not a perfect human being, Allah will not send the ta'wil of Quran to your heart. That's number one. Number two manifestation is what? Hey, I think you've had a good lunch. Niyaz is coming later. What? Being a mirror. Lazzatu mir'atillah. Fatima is a mirror of divine beauty. Here scholars, they said, Fatima is a true manifestation of the beautiful names of Allah. Ladhatu mir'atillah. They call it makamu mir'ati. We discussed it yesterday. Hidayatun amri. Number 3. Ummu abiha. This is power. The mother of her father. You see, this mother of her father refers to 3 things. At least, that the one I know. I'm sure there are so many. The first one is an indication that there is emotional relationship between the Holy Prophet and Fatima. But come to the next one, uncle. It indicates to existential relationship between Fatima and the Holy Prophet. How? You know, every single human being, when you look at your existence, our existence is made up of 2 sources. Masdaru huduthi and masdaru baqa'i. So let's take an example of Tayyib. You've got masdaru hudusi. What is masdaru hudusi? The source of your initiation, your beginning, your inception to this world. But there is another source. The source that guarantees your sustenance in this world until Qiyamah. So when I look at him, the source of his inception is his father and mother. But I don't know your source of that one. I don't know. Now I come to Fatima. What is the source of the initiation of Fatima? Khadijat al-Kubra. The source of the continuation of Fatima are the Ahlul Bayt. Now come to Prophet. This is the Kamal. The source of the initiation of our beloved Prophet is his mother. Who is the mother? Aminah bint. The continuation of the existence of Prophet is Fatima. Allah, if it wasn't of Fatima, the world would have forgotten of the Holy Prophet. That's Kamal. Masdaru baqa'i li Rasulillah, Fatima Zahra. Baba, people call Rasulullah Abtar. And Allah brought Fatima to wipe off the tears, and through Fatima, Hassan Hussein up to Mahdi, Ajjalallahu ta'ala faraja. Umma salli ala Mohammed. So that is a sign of Kamal in Sayyida Salamullahi alayha. Do you remember any other sign of Kamal in her? In Fatima? Any other trace of perfection in Fatima? Patience. Patience, true. Patience is important. Something more. Shukr. She was grateful for the pain she went through. That's definitely maqam of Insan al-Kamil. Not everybody becomes grateful of his pain. Her mihrab, top notch. And that's what I would like to leave you with. Her mihrab. Pledge Allah, brothers and sisters, tonight to take your ibadah to the next level. Pledge Allah. Fatima worshipped, we mentioned last night, until the feet were swollen. That's your challenge, that's my challenge. The taste of this world relies on your connection with Allah. And as we say, Allah comes to you in full. In full. The level you take Allah depends on you. Some took Allah 100%, they became infallibles. خُذُورُهُ بِالْإِطْلَاقِ مِسْتِوَدُونَهُ بِالْإِطْلَاقِ. Allah comes to you in full, but of course you are not God. Allah comes to you in full. Some took Allah to certain percentage. Before Adhan, they are waiting for Salah. Some took Allah certain level. They will wait for Azan to be finished. They will be there for the first takbir. Some took him to certain level. They will wait for first raka'ah before they join. Some took him to their level. They will wait qada, they will do 30 years qada. When they die, people struggle to do. Let us work on our soul purifications as we commemorate the martyrdom of this great lady. I invite you all, my dear brothers and sisters, let us take our hearts to the holy city of Medina and remember a few lines of the Masa'ib of this great lady on a night like tonight, the night of her martyrdom, the night of her shahada. No doubt, Sayyidah Fatima is the first martyr in the way of wilayah and the way of imamah. The first martyr after the departure of her beloved prophet, the holy prophet of Islam, from this world. Narration tells us, as we mentioned last night, that the enemy struck on the cheek of Fatima. And hence Imam Hassan al-Mushtaba, after the departure of his beloved mother, whenever he would see him, you know what Imam would say? Anta alladhi darabta ummi Fatima hatta admaytaha. You were the one who beat my mom Fatima until you made my mom bleed. She never looked at the face of Amir al-Mu'mineen after that, because she didn't want Amir al-Mu'mineen to see the darkness on the cheek. Hence, as they said, Ali al-Akbar, after they dug his chest with the dagger, Ali would smile and Ali would cry. But Ali, why are you crying? I see Fatima slapping on her cheek. The authorities sent their henchmen to the house of Fatima. They went to the house, they stood behind the door. They called out for the people of the house to come and pay the allegiance. Fatima called out from behind, this is the house of the daughter of Rasulullah. What was the response of the enemies? They pushed the door on Fatima. Of course, when the door was pushed on Fatima, her ribs were broken, as we know. The nail on the door pierced the lungs of Fatima. But of course, Fatima went pain upon pain, through pains. But you know that final moment of the life of Fatima al-Zahra, my dear brothers and sisters, she sat next to Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. You know, one narration described her. Fatima kanat nahilat al-jism. She became weak, constantly crying, constantly in pain. But she sat next to Amir al-Mu'mineen. She said to Amir, "Oh my beloved Ali, are you pleased with me?" Imam Ali said, "Ya Fatima, you've never angered me." That was the moment she began with her final will. She said, "Oh Ali, when I die, wash me at night, kafan me at night. Oh Ali, bury me at night. Do not let any one of them witness my burial." And of course, Fatima, during those final moments, she said to Asma bint Umays, "Oh Asma, I'm going to my room. After 1 hour, come check on me." She said, "Oh Asma, when Asanain come back home, give them their food." But of course, Asanain never ate without their mother. When they came back, Asma gave the food. She said, "When have you known us to eat without our mom?" But of course, Asma did exactly what the lady told her, Salamullah alayha. After an hour, she went and checked on Fatima. And it was Inna Lillah wa Inna Ilayhi Raji'un. But you know, narration tells us who performed the ghusl from Imam Ja'far Sadiq. It was Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. As Imam was busy making the ghusl of Fatima, you know what happened? Imam stopped the ghusl and sat on one corner of the house. Asma approached Imam, "Ya Ali, I've never seen you crying like this." He said, "Asma, as I was busy making the ghusl of Fatima, my hand crossed the broken ribs of Fatima. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Now, when they are to bury Sayyida, Imam al-Hasan came and sat next to the body of his mom. He called out, there was painful quietness. Aba Abdullah came and sat next to the body of his mother. He hugged the mom, he called out, mother, mother, there was painful quietness. Yes, scholars said Amirul Mu'mineen was inspired to remove Hussein from the chest of Fatima. Arbabul Makatil asked a question, if angels did not bear to see Hussein on the chest of Fatima, how did the angels bear to see Simr on the chest of Hussein? Ala la'natullah ala al-qawm al-zalimin. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Ya Hussein.